Hi, I'm George Tracy, the Director of the Export Assistance Center in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to this 10th session of Export U about website design for the global marketplace. This session is broken into three parts, 10A, B, and C. In this particular session, we will be introducing the concept of website globalization, some simple enhancements that you can make to your site that will greatly improve its appeal to international visitors, and the pros and cons of website translation. First, let's briefly check out some statistics because what's going on right now in cyberspace is pretty incredible. If you consider the number of web users worldwide, both Asia and Europe have far more than North America. And look at the growth in other regions such as Asia, Latin America, Africa, and the Middle East. It's almost double in each one of these regions, far outpacing that of North America. This translates directly into opportunity for those companies that are willing to go after customers via the web in these other regions and capitalize on the explosive growth that's taking place. And although the growth in number of users is extraordinary, it's even more impressive when you consider the penetration rate of the Internet in the various regions of the world. As you can see from this chart, North America has a pretty high penetration rate, somewhere in the 70s, around 73%, without much change from 2007. But look at the huge increase in penetration rates in Latin America, Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. It's almost double over 2007, which indicates that more and more people are getting online in those regions. And considering Asia, that already has by far the greatest number of Internet users in general, they currently only has around an 18% penetration rate. Clearly, the prospects there are staggering. This further reinforces the incredible opportunity to sell to customers within all of these regions if your company is willing to go after it. The fact is, if you have a website, you already have global exposure, whether you want it or not. You can't keep your site from being found by people in other countries. Once you're on the web, you're out there for all to see. So the question really becomes, do you take advantage of the enormous international opportunities the web affords? Is your international strategy simply going to be not to have one at all? Or do you want to do what you can to attract and retain foreign customers? For those companies that do decide they want to proactively go after the amazing international opportunities the Internet can provide, the first step is ensuring their web presence is optimized for international visitors, a concept known as website globalization. Website globalization is a comprehensive strategy that fuses globalization best practices with your specific branding and technology needs. This is typically done using a phased approach, which we'll be discussing throughout this series. First, you can do many things, simple enhancements that will have a huge impact on the way international visitors perceive your company and your capabilities to do business overseas. These simple enhancements are very inexpensive, things you can easily do today but will have an enormous impact, and we'll talk about some of these in a moment. Then, when a company decides to put a little more time and investment into their globalization efforts, they typically move to website internationalization, a process that focuses more specifically on a website that is culturally neutral and functional in any part of the world. Then, following website internationalization, companies will often localize their websites for a specific target country, a process known as website localization. We'll be discussing all of this throughout the series. And of course, website translation is a big topic when it comes to website globalization, so we'll touch on that topic and relay on some of the best practices that you should know. We'll then get into proactive promotion of your website in other countries, as well as touch on international e-commerce and some of the approaches that can be taken. Now, as you can imagine, this is a massive topic that can be discussed for days, weeks even. But our goal here with this online tutorial is to provide a high-level overview of the topic along with some actionable information that you can use to immediately improve your online presence as it relates to international marketing, sales, and trade. So although we certainly don't want to imply that this series is comprehensive on the topic, it will provide you a starting point from which you can begin your website globalization efforts. So let's start talking about some simple enhancements that you can make that will have a huge impact on the appeal of your website to international visitors. One of the biggest complaints we hear from buyers overseas is that on many